The drama surrounding the Cleveland Browns has reached a boiling point, and what's unfolding behind closed doors might be the most chaotic and revealing power struggle the NFL has seen in years. What started as a slow decline has now turned into a full-blown crisis that's shaking the foundation of the franchise. A bombshell report from insider Mary Kay Kitt has detonated in the heart of Cleveland, sending shockwaves through every layer of the organization. The revelation. Head coach Kevin Stefanski is reportedly considering doing the unthinkable, handing over his play-calling duties to offensive coordinator Tommy Reese. But that's not even the most explosive part. For weeks, the Browns have looked like a team lost in translation. Confusion, miscommunication, and mounting frustration spilling into every press conference and practice session. The players look drained, the fans are furious, and the front office appears to be scrambling to keep the entire building from collapsing in on itself. Stefanski's leadership, once touted as the stabilizing force in Cleveland, now feels like the very thing holding the team hostage. His offensive decisions have become predictable. His loyalty to struggling rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel has turned baffling, and his refusal to adapt has driven both the locker room and the fanbase to the brink of revolt. The leaked report didn't just reveal an internal coaching change, it exposed a much deeper fracture in the power structure. Stefanski, long considered one of the league's most stubborn play callers, might finally be forced to relinquish control, not out of strategic brilliance but pure desperation. This isn't a move born from insight, it's survival. The walls are closing in, and the once confident coach is running out of excuses. Analysts have been calling for accountability for weeks. Fans have flooded social media demanding change. And now the whispers suggest that someone above Stefanski, perhaps general manager Andrew Berry, perhaps ownership itself, has finally decided to intervene. The question is whether it's too late. What makes this situation so volatile isn't just the coaching uncertainty, but what it reveals about Cleveland's long history of dysfunction. For years, the Browns have perfected the art of self-destruction, finding new ways to sabotage their own potential. But this time feels different. The tension between Stefanski's ego and the front office's growing impatience has reached a point where neither side can afford to back down. The coach who once symbolized innovation and composure is now clinging to a sinking ship, refusing to acknowledge the obvious. His system has failed, and his players have lost faith. The idea of Tommy Reese taking over play-calling duties has sent tremors through the organization. For years, Stefanski has guarded that responsibility like a crown jewel, his final symbol of authority amid an unraveling season. To lose it now would be more than a tactical shift. It would be a public admission of failure. Reese, known for his aggressive offensive schemes and fearless approach to tempo, represents everything Stefanski has avoided. While Stefanski's offense has crawled through games with lifeless efficiency, Reese's style is fast, unpredictable, and built around trusting his quarterback to make big plays. If this transition actually happens, it could mark a total identity shift for the Browns, a team reborn or a team ripped apart by clashing philosophies. And that brings us to the man at the center of it all, Shedeur Sanders. Once heralded as Cleveland's future, he's become the ghost haunting this franchise. A fifth-round pick with the talent of a first-rounder, Sanders showed flashes of brilliance in training camp. His arm strength, precision, and poise stood out immediately. But instead of grooming him as the next leader, the organization buried him under vague injury reports and cryptic press conferences. Stefanski's explanation for Sanders' disappearance, a single word, stiffness, wasn't just vague, it was insulting. No clarity, no timeline, just deflection. When Sanders and his family later broke their silence to reveal that he wasn't injured at all, that he had been ready to play for weeks, the narrative cracked wide open. Suddenly, what looked like cautious management started to smell like manipulation. This wasn't about health, it was about control. Stefanski's refusal to acknowledge Sanders, even after public statements from his camp, revealed a grudge that ran deeper than football. By choosing to keep Sanders benched while defending Gabriel's repeated failures, Stefanski made it personal. The move screamed ego over logic, stubbornness over accountability. Week after week, Gabriel struggled, the offense stalled, and the losses piled up, yet the coach stayed the course, unwilling to admit that his hand-picked project wasn't ready. Meanwhile, Sanders continued to train in silence, keeping his body and mind sharp, waiting for a chance that never came. That level of patience, that kind of mental toughness is rare, and now it might finally pay off. If Reese does take over and installs Sanders as the starter, The story could transform from tragedy to triumph overnight. Reese's offense fits Sanders' strengths perfectly: quick reads, decisive throws, and design plays that exploit defensive weaknesses. Sanders has always thrived in systems that allow him to improvise and dictate tempo, and Reese's playbook could unleash the potential that's been suffocating under Stefanski's conservative schemes. The chemistry between them isn't theoretical either. Sources say Reese has long admired Sanders' composure and processing ability, viewing him as the kind of quarterback who can elevate an entire offense when trusted to lead. The excitement in Cleveland is palpable. After months of hopelessness, fans finally have something to believe in. Social media has erupted with clips of Sanders, college highlights, theories about what Reese's offense could look like, and speculation about when the change will officially be announced. But with that excitement comes caution. Browns fans have been burned before. Promises of new beginnings have turned to ash too many times. Every rumor of reform has ended the same way: disappointment. The skepticism is earned, and this time, no one's ready to celebrate until they see Sanders take the field. Still, there's a sense that this might be the breaking point. The pressure has never been greater. Local media, national analysts, even former players have started tearing into Stefanski's decisions. Ownership is reportedly furious about the embarrassment this season has become. The Browns can't afford another implosion. If they don't act now, if they cling to pride and keep Sanders sidelined, the backlash will be nuclear. For this turnaround to happen, three things must align. Stefanski has to swallow his pride and admit his mistakes publicly. The front office must hand full offensive control to Reese without interference. And Sanders must be named the clear starter, with the team rallying around him as their future. If those steps are taken, the Browns could shock the league. The talent is there, the potential is undeniable, and the fan base is starving for hope. Sanders could transform the offense overnight. Faster tempo, deeper passes, more rhythm, more confidence. With him under center, everything could click again. But if they hesitate, if Stefanski digs in and refuses to relinquish control, the consequences will be catastrophic. The locker room will fracture beyond repair, fans will revolt, and another promising season will turn into a cautionary tale of ego and dysfunction. The line between redemption and ruin has never been thinner, and right now, Cleveland is balancing on the edge of a knife. The coming days will define everything. Will the Browns embrace change and give Shedeur Sanders the keys to the offense, or will Kevin Stefanski's pride drag this franchise down once again? Will Tommy Reese step up and ignite the spark that could save the season, or will internal politics keep the Browns locked in a cycle of mediocrity? The answers will decide not just the team's fate, but the legacy of everyone involved.